And how do you actually connect the supernatural? It is not by these senses that you have. It is your consciousness that will connect you to the supernatural. We do know that the supernatural is not even occupied alone by God. That is a thing you should not throw away. The supernatural, we still have the principalities and powers. We still have the occult men and occult women sending signal to the supernatural. So from there you are receiving all kind of affliction, all kind of attack, all from the supernatural. You can even know what happened to Daniel. As we saw the priest of Persia withstood the blessing that Daniel was to see. Don't take it as a joke. How do you connect the supernatural? Now, if you look at the book of Psalm 121, I start from verse 1. I will lift up my eyes unto the hill, from whence cometh my help. When you are to say you are lifting up your eyes unto the hill, let's begin like this. If I knew that God resides in heaven, and I understood that this thing they call the hills in this Bible is talking about the supernatural. Hallelujah. This is not just a mountain. This does not have anything to connect somebody saying, I went to the mountain. No. Even where you sit down, you can connect to the supernatural. That is, your height is lifted onto the hill. The place where the Lord resides, where God dwells upon his throne. This will draw your mind back to the time of Exodus, when the Israelites were leaving Egypt. There was a cloud in the day that gives them shelter, and overnight there is a cloud of fire that gives them light. That is the hill. That is what they look unto. That is where communication affects the soul. Connected to the supernatural leaves the senses of man and goes to the soul in consciousness. Like I told somebody, your breath is your soul, and you may not understand. No, some pastors will say the soul is the emotional part of you, emotional or whatever you call it, or feeling or whatever you call it. Anything that radiates life is produced by the soul. Produce, the word I use, don't make mistake. And where does this exist? After God has created Adam, he breathed the breath of life into Adam, and Adam became a living soul. That life is our soul. When the soul radiates things, don't begin to use intelligence to quantify the soul. The soul is the life in you. And that life in you, if it is cut short, there is no more life. How do you know the soul? By your breath. When you are still breathing, the soul is still alive. Are you listening to me? Because that breath is what became the living soul. Now, in that breath also, we have our consciousness. If you are able to listen to your breath, you'll be able to understand the supernatural. Your breath, by